Let's move on to the tackle position. And our first round, day one, best fit at offensive tackle is Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. He seems like a guy that probably, like the closer you get to the draft, this might be the top tackle with the best chance of actually making it. Seems like Darnell Wright's getting a lot more love as time goes on. And Maddie, it feels like Anton Harrison seems like the most realistic guy that could actually be there for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think in the tackle spot, I'm Darnell Wright's going to be gone. I'm not 100% sure that Anton Harrison has a great chance to be there, but he's the guy that there is a chance to be. And the reason that he would be, he's coming out of an offensive system that really doesn't pass set like ever. It's even worse now without Lincoln Riley. It's not like Lincoln Riley had them do it a ton, right? But it's even worse now. So it's just a lot of these weird, look at these wide splits he's dealing with. You can see in the highlights, he's just kind of standing up and then mirroring guys. So you don't have a ton of pass sets actually coming out of him. But what you notice is, oh, wow, he just stands up and then mirrors a defensive end. And he does so because his feet stay light. He's got really good footwork to where he can just slide laterally back and forth. His hands kind of work independently of his feet, so he can shoot his hands, corral rushers, and control them the entire time. And once his hands are connected to a guy, he has great core and grip strength to kind of hold them in place. So there's a lot of stuff to work with. And then the Chiefs, we've seen it with Orlando Brown Jr., and you've seen it with guys they've taken recently. They're not afraid to rework an offensive tackle's pass set if they think that's the biggest weakness. They pay a little bit more attention to the physical traits rather than what they've shown they can actually do with their footwork on the play. So he kind of makes sense in that regard for the project aspect that Andy Heck likes to take on.
Absolutely. And I think that you saw against some of his best competition, especially against Felix Anudike-Uzomah, that he really stepped up and played really well against that guy. Did a good job of, making sure that he didn't get it beat up the arc on those true pass sets that he actually did have to do, and did a good job anchoring against that guy. Now, you maybe look at him a little bit and you say, okay, he does struggle with power at times at the NFL level. That is certainly something that'll need to be cleaned up, but he is a good athlete and he's got the requisite length. So, I mean, at pick 31, you're going to be choosing from a guy that you're going to have to give up something, because offensive tackles that are good do not last to 31. Anton Harrison might be a best case scenario for the Kansas City Chiefs as far as an offensive tackle goes, because he checks a lot of boxes for Andy Reid, has that requisite athleticism, and is probably a guy that Andy Heck is going to look at and go, I can mold that, I can shape that, I can add a little more strength and anchor to this guy and really get him to play the way that I want him to play football. Question just is, coming out of that Oklahoma offense, how long is it going to take to get to that point? Is year one going to be a rough transition to the NFL, or is he a quick learner that's going to come in and be able to maybe have a rough first quarter to half of the year, but really improves in the second half of the year?
Sounds like Orlando Brown. Speaking of Oklahoma offensive linemen, I mean, the good news for him is you've seen a lot of OU offensive linemen have success. Maybe even out of the Lincoln Riley offense, like maybe it doesn't translate entirely, but you've seen them be able to translate because there's just always typically a lot of talent. He's still a young guy. He's still a young guy too. Just turned 21 in February 2nd. So this is just another young moldable prospect. If you're able to, get him and he hits, like you're looking at a 9-year contract, a 9-year player, contract player before he turns 30. Those are guys you would prefer to keep around. So definitely Anton Harrison is a guy to pay attention to. Our day 2 guy is a day 3 guy for a lot of people that keeps. Here's the thing. Everyone calls him their day 3 sleeper. Do you know what I call a day 3 sleeper? A day two draft pick. Like, Nick Saldiveri is continuing to gain momentum the more and more this draft prospect continues. This man's probably going to wind up going day 2. That's why he's our day 2 tackle to watch here, Matthew.
But
I'll take it from Matthew. I know he doesn't really like to talk about Big Salad very much, so I can take. No, Maddie, please go ahead. This is one of Maddie's my guys too.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I'll take any chance I can to talk about Big Salad. So this is good. So here it is. I think Kent nailed it. I would have had him as he was my day 3 sleeper, quote unquote, but I would have targeted him kind of in the 4th round going into this. I don't even know if he makes it to the Chiefs at 96. You look at the physical profile, 6'6", 320 pounds. a little short on the arms, just a little bit over 33 inches, but that still clears. That clears the benchmark the NFL cares about. So he hits all the physical metrics. He's tall, he's thick, he's got long enough arms, good footwork, explosive offensive tackle. I'm like, oh, okay, he kind of checks all those things. You go watch him. The footwork is exceptional. You can tell he's athletic just the way his feet moves. Yeah, his hands carry low and wide. Yeah, he shoots them at various times, and his hands do need a lot of work. But the thing is, he stays balanced because of his footwork. He has enough power that he can land his punch or he can absorb and recover. He needs some work on his strength. That's expected coming out of Old Dominion. His technique with his hands isn't perfect. These are things you expect. But what really drives him home is, I think, being the perfect fit for the Chiefs and why he's not getting out of day two. He can play all 5 positions along the offensive line. That matters to the NFL. He's played right tackle, left guard, right guard, and I believe he played a little bit of center and Donut Mobile at the Senior Bowl. So he's played 4 of the positions. He hasn't technically played left tackle yet, but watch his feet. Like, he could fill in there. So can play 5 positions, has offensive tackle build, hits all the benchmarks, and has athletic feet and is an explosive mover. It's hard to see that guy making it to day 3 in any way.
That's an Andy Reid offensive lineman if I've ever heard it. Andy Reid, Andy Heck. Yeah, and so I think some teams even consider him a center. So like he's just, I mean, yeah, the positional versatility is valuable, and he's a good football player on top of that. Day 3 guy that we had a chance to look at the East West Shrine Bowl, Craig, was Carter Warren out of Pitt. He's our day 3 tackle to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the few guys that I think that when we got to see him a little bit, like he popped in those sorts of drills. It's not always geared towards the offensive tackle. Yeah, you look at him a little bit, maybe his hand timing's a little off. He gets a little grabby, especially his feet are a little bit slower. And so you look at him and it's like, oh, I don't know if he really fits in the Andy Reid mold. And then you kind of scroll through his measurables and you check out arm length. 35 and 5/8. Never mind. He's a perfect fit for an Andy Reid offense due to his length. I think he makes a lot of sense as a day 3 project at tackle. Got the requisite length. He was a team captain. So, you know, this team really loves trying to get those high character football guys in here. I think he's got good enough movement skills to try and, you know, kind of play that way. He's got good recovery, at least in that part. And then I do like the way that he kind of checks back inside with his inside hand a little bit. He doesn't get beat inside a ton. That is what we know as an Andy Heck hallmark. He wants to check inside first and then gain depth. With that length, it gives you a little bit more ability. You don't have to have the natural athleticism to climb the arc a little bit there. So Carter Warren, for a day 3 guy, having that kind of length, having that ability, might be kind of a unique fit for Andy Heck and Andy Reid's offense that may be able to be a swing tackle or a contributor along the line at some point in his rookie deal. That's about all you can ask for a day 3 offensive tackle.
Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. Check out these videos that feature our team of more than 15 former players, insiders, and analysts, bringing you the best Chiefs coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.